Hello, I am Leave Nelson B, musician for Lonely Ghost Records, and this is Tellin with Alan. Here, we will go over recent Lonely Ghost releases, as well as those from affiliated artists, in a quest to get liner notes that you cannot get in a digital era. I hope you enjoy. Hey, I gotta say I am loving the JPEG Mafia poster back
Thank
there.
you. Thank you. Actually, my girlfriend made it.
Oh,
Um,
that's pretty dope.
yeah. She does the graphic design, and she knew I was a fan, and so for Christmas she gave me one of those and a brockhampton poster she made. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, Grammy Wife just became like one of my favorite songs
yeah.
recently. Fucking love that song. Oh man. Oh, that and what was it? Was it Feed the Frail? I forgot what was
hmm
yeah, yeah, I fucking love that song.
Yeah, and he's incredible. He's one of those people that's just made me rethink music. So that's fun.
Yeah,
So
I would like to make music like JPEG Mafia, but I am not that. I have to have things on time.
yeah.
you know, I kind of have to have things on time. I can't like be disjointed like that. And is that a Brockhampton poster too?
hmm
Yeah, fucking love Brockhampton.
Absolutely.
Oh man, what's that Kevin Abstract album?
Um,
Um,
Arizona baby.
no, the one before that with
American Boyfriend?
American. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. American Boyfriend. Yeah, yeah, that was so good. That was the first time I ever heard of anything Brockhampton was for that record.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
man,
they're incredible. I was trying to find tickets for them the other night. But it's I don't know if they're sold out or not. I haven't looked closely yet, but I heard that they're breaking up. So
oh
um
really?
yeah, I guess their last album's coming out this year, but I'm thinking about it. Going to see them.
Yeah, you might
So
not see him ever again.
right. Cool.
Oh, my microphone is facing, so okay, here we go.
Cool.
All right.
Can you hear me all right? I'm just using the computer
Oh yeah,
audio.
yours is probably fine. It's probably yeah. My no,
Cool.
I fucked with the cord, so let me. There we go. There we go. No more phasing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. But yeah, oh man, that's wild. But okay, so the Nano project. Well, first of all, like who are you? What can I call you?
Yeah, I'm Nathaniel. A lot of people call me Nanl, which is how I ended up with the project name. Most people call me Nathaniel, but I'm cool with either one.
Okay.
Um, so, yep.
So you've been like tangentially like affiliated with Lonely Ghost for a little while, right?
Yeah,
Like you've appeared on Lonely Ghost Records for like the better part of like the last like 3 years.
yeah. Actually, it was kind of just like an accident. Like I didn't even plan on recording the EP I had. Um, I was just encouraged, and so I did it all of a sudden. And then I was like, well, shoot, how do I get it out there? And then Alex for Riser, who's one of my best friends, has obviously been releasing music under Riser, and I helped play guitar and drums on that first project, and then I recorded his second project in my basement, and then Healthy Alternative for Better Living. I don't know if they were ever through Lonely Ghost, but that was the first project I did. So
I think Lonely Ghost did a tape run, I believe,
yeah,
for Better Alternative. So yeah, like yeah, you've been around for a little while.
yeah.
Yeah. So I assume you're also an Indianapolis person.
What's that?
I'm assuming you're also in Indy. You're also in Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana. I live in Bloomington, so
Okay, you're not one of those Pacers people, are you? Are
no,
you?
no.
Okay.
I Alex is a big basketball guy. He could tell you about it all day. I couldn't even start.
That's his undoing. That's what will be his undoing, is
Yeah.
being loyal to the Pacers. Oh
So
yeah. Oh, but yeah, like both you and Alex, man. I believe I talked to Alex about people under the stairs and shit before,
mhm.
and here you are with a JPEG Mafia and a Brockhampton poster. This is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a lot.
I'm glad to hear it. People Under the Stairs. I haven't listened to them in years. Did they do Acid Raindrops? Is that them?
Yeah, they did do Acid Raindrops.
Okay. I think Alex's brother might have shown me them or something, or maybe I can't remember what it was, but I heard them a lot. I forgot about them.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the members died last year. So that
Really?
yes, yeah. Double K died last year. So there will be no more People Under the Stairs stuff for forever now.
Man.
But there's like maybe like 10 albums to go through still. So
Mhm.
but yeah, the Nanl project. So what was the genesis of this project? Like, well, what made Autumn Dies like a thing that you recorded?
Yeah. So the backstory behind it is, so I was when I did it kind of really started with Healthy Alternative for Better Living. Alex and Isaiah, who was playing lead guitar on it, they had been two of my really close friends for a long time. I We kind of went in separate directions due to me being like a couple years older than them in high school, but they started going down a music route, and I'd been playing for like 10 years at that point, like several instruments, but I'd never tried writing a song. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to play drums for us?" And at that point, I hadn't played drums in quite some time. Um, but I jumped in with them, and I'm like, "Wait, why am I not writing music? This is super exciting." And so I had a great time with that. Then Alex went off to school, so Isaiah and I started a project that we've been working on music for really for probably 2.5 years, and then it's been difficult to get schedules going, even though we probably got like 15 or more songs like just ready to record. We just haven't done it yet. But I was talking to my dad one day, and he's a big music lover, and he's like, "You've got all these extra songs that you're not using for Rose Tent. Why don't you just go record something?" And it was kind of just a wake up moment. I'm like, wow, I should have done that a long time ago. And so I
The
kind of,
most simplest of suggestions, like, oh,
yeah,
how come I didn't think of that?
this is the most obvious thing that you do with music. So had some money saved up and just booked studio time without really having everything prepared. But I had some songs, and then Isaiah and Alex, and then another friend, Alex, who played drums. We kind of just rushed it almost, getting all the parts ready to go, and then went in, and that's where it came from. So
I think you guys are way more talented than you guys think you are, because I remember the story that Alex told me about obviously Icarus, right?
mhm.
And how that was like quickly thrown together. Like the last song was recorded before like he had a plane ride or something like that, and like
Yeah.
and that's my favorite. That's my favorite like Eraser project,
Mhm.
And I'm like, how's this? How's this thrown together? And
Right. It sounds amazing. Alex is incredible.
oh, yeah, it sounds amazing. And yeah, he did mention it was like recorded in your basement. And I'm like, how does it like mix this well? And the vocal sounds so like full and like almost like too close to not being compressed as possible. Like
Mhm.
and I have the same feelings about this EP Autumn Dies. So usually we go through song by song. And one thing I did find pretty was pretty striking is that unlike Alex, you start off with the longest song and don't end with the
Yeah.
longest song. So always on my mind. Like this song builds up, and I really love the way the drums sound on this record, just in general. Like it sound the drums sound really good, the guitar sound really, everything sounds great, you know.
Thank you.
But what's the story behind Always on My Mind?
Yeah. So when I really kind of started getting excited about writing my own stuff, a lot of it just kind of turned into guitar pieces and open tunings. Um, and I'd go throw them on Instagram or whatever, and then never touch them again. But this one, for some reason, I decided to add some chords. and ended up fleshing it out into a full song because I was really excited about the sound of it. So it started out pretty pretty simple, um, and melancholy when I just had it to me and a guitar. Um, and then Isaiah came in and wrote some parts that I really love, and then we met up with uh, Alex and other Alex actually. And the beginning of that song, we were practicing it, and they were trying to write something, and then that part where the drums and bass really come in, where Alex is kind of doing the fast part and the hi hat, it's kind of fast. They wrote that on the spot.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. Um, they started messing around with it and like, whoa, hold on, why aren't we using that? Um, and so yeah, I sat on that song for a long time, and then those guys just turned it from like a pretty mellow tune to something fairly dynamic and exciting. And the feedback that I got from the musicians that I worked with consistently was that was their favorite song for it, and that's how it ended up being a single. Um, and that's the main story behind kind of how it came together, I suppose. So
Yeah, funny you say that's like, your other musician's favorite track, because I'm not a trained musician at all. Like I learned everything through brute force and trial and error.
mhm.
Like I'm just now getting into like, inverted chord structures and, minor sevenths and all that other stuff on the keyboard, which I am learning that on like this thing. So like, if
Oh
I get
wow.
to if I get to an actual keyboard, I'm not gonna know what the fuck to do because I know where the
Right.
keys are in here. You know, but I believe "Try" is actually my favorite song on this record.
I'm really happy to hear that. That one's my favorite as well.
Okay, yeah, "Try" is my favorite song on this record. I love how the melody and how to, like, not necessarily like a contained chaotic chaos that the drums are. Like this one really stuck out to me. So what's the story behind "Try"?
Yeah. I wrote that one really when let's see, that was March 2020, so or April 2020, I think, when everything started closing down. Um, and so my job, um, I was a server at the time, and so all the restaurants closed, so I was out of a job at the moment, and I was in school at the time, but everything went virtual, so I was having a lot of free time just to write music at the beginning of all that, and so I was working in this tuning that I play in a lot, where it's like it's drop D, but I also tune the G string down a half step. So it's almost open D, except the bottom, or I guess top two strings, are still in the right key. And I was trying to write a simple song, um, because I tend to um, focus too much on guitar, and so over the past year, I've been trying to simplify things. And there's this Julian Baker song I really love, where she kind of goes from fairly mellow beginning to all of a sudden she just jumps um, a lot higher with her vocals, and it's a lot more passionate. And I wanted to do something that kind of reflected that, and something a bit heavier lyrically and more imagery based than usual. Um, and that one's kind of just based in emotion. I wanted to have a two-half song where the beginning was kind of painting a picture, and then a second half where the lyrics are just upset and visceral and touching on a lot of things that I struggle with. So that one's pretty personal to me. And then, like I said, the other guys, every time they'd come in with something, I'm like, wow, that sounds way better than I pictured it. So um, yeah, yeah, I love that song.
Are all you guys like Alex, the two Alexes and Isaiah and yourself, like, I know you and Alex are, Kessler. I know that
Yeah.
you and Kessler are like great singers. Even like, is everybody else also astute vocally as you two are?
Isaiah also sings for our Roast Tent project, and he's been writing verses. I love his voice.
Okay.
He's got a really lovely voice. Alex Schumacher on drums. I've not heard him sing before, but he's another one of those guys where like he's probably more trained than at least Isaiah and I, because I don't know what I'm doing. I've just kind of figured it out through the years. But like he's got a band background where he's really great at like bass and guitar and drums and kind of can do everything. But yeah, Isaiah is also a great vocalist, and so is Alex Kessler. So we all sing together quite a bit.
So like, how did you guys get to know each other? Like,
Oh, like how did we meet?
yeah, how did you guys become aware of each other and started working together? Like,
Yeah, so we all went to the same high school. They are 2 grades below me, and we kind of had some mutual friends. So one of my best friends was really good friends with Alex, and so then Alex and I started spending more time together. And then Isaiah and I had a class together where we also kind of organically became friends. And then Isaiah and Alex were best friends. And so we all started hanging out and playing music and kind of going through like a pretty similar journey in terms of like how we progressed as musicians. Alex and Isaiah they started a healthy alternative for better living while they were in high school and I was in college, and I came home for break and they were like, "Hey, come join us." And like since like we've just gotten so much closer, and we're all best friends and really kind of push each other to be better musically and to continue to do stuff, and are always supportive and trying to help each other. But really we were all best friends even before like we played music together. So and then the music was sort of a catalyst for us continuing to be close.
yeah, that's basically sounds exactly like me and Superdestroyer. We knew each
Yeah.
other in high school. Yeah, and he was actually 2 grades below me.
Really?
Yeah, he had two grades below me. We actually met in art class, and like of all classes, I was such an asshole in that class. Like I tortured our teacher hardcore. But yeah, it was yeah. We met in high school, 2 grades below me, and at some point, like he found out that I did music and like got to me real because because like you know people in high school and you don't talk to them for years, and that was what's destined to become me Super Destroyers,
Yeah.
friendship until he found out the music and hit me up one day. And this has been like maybe 12, 15 years, like 12, 13 years ago when he did
Yeah.
hit me up. And that's basically been like how we kept in contact ever since. Like, what are we doing? How are we doing? And it's like when I figured out like how to like release stuff like through proper channels, like he was like the first one I called, like, hey, like this is how I did this. Like I'm so excited about it, So
So you
yeah.
guys go back. I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. I mean, Super Destroyer. I've known him longer than I haven't at this point in time in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, we do go back. Yeah, me, yeah, because I think him and Shane knew each other too.
Mhm.
Also 2 grades below me. I didn't meet Shane until maybe I'm probably like 6, 7 years ago.
Mhm.
When I was living in my mother's basement back when I got home from the Air Force. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's hearing your story definitely reminds me of that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's funny how those circles continue to just kind of intermingle for years unexpectedly.
yeah, and like you said, like we push each other to become better musicians. Like it's definitely like one of the things that keep our friendship like intact. I think now like we have like a weekly like 3-hour phone call that we indulge in the middle of the week. So yeah, it's actually very nice.
Yeah.
It's a very nice friendship. It's a very nice music friendship because like I can't trust the opinion of people that are like close to me because like what I don't want to hear that if you think it's good or not. You're gonna say it's good whether you like it or not. You
Right.
know. Whereas like Super Destroyer will like tell me, hey, you need to like, how about you pan this the other way? And you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
man. He's amazing. He's gone out of his way just to be kind to me.
oh
Um,
yeah, new record coming out too.
yeah, I know. It sounds great.
Yeah, it
It's
does sound great.
yeah.
But Portrait is one of the more quieter songs on this record.
Yeah.
Uh, what was the decision there? Like you have all this musicianship, why like mute this song a little bit?
Yeah. That one turned out really how I'd always pictured it. I just wanted an electric guitar with some reverb, um, some harmony vocals, and I wanted it to be more intimate. And I also wanted the EP as a whole to kind of be diverse, and I didn't want the songs to sound stylistically too similar. But Portrait was just kind of where I saw myself going in the first place, and really still where I'd like to go um, in the future at some point with some project, even if it's a couple songs with just me and a guitar, and um, it sounding especially intimate, and where the lyrics are somewhat meaningful. That was an interesting one too, because I wrote that song forever ago, and I just really liked the guitar part. And then I think I wrote that song like in an evening, and decided to keep it as was and keep it simple and stripped back. And I don't know, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate your singing voice on this one too.
Thank you.
I think it's like my favorite vocal performance on the record.
Oh, that means a lot. That's
Yeah.
probably the one I'm most self-conscious about. So I'm really happy to hear that.
You should not be self-conscious about your vocal performances like at all.
That means a lot, actually. I always consider myself a guitarist who's trying to sing. So having some positive feedback means a lot. So
I was thinking back in preparation for this for this interview, like when's the first time I actually heard like Nanl, and it will be playing drums on No Friends, I believe.
mm-hmm.
You know, like just like I don't like just all of you are just great musicians.
Thank you.
You know, like just great musicians, and I don't think there's anything you guys can't do. Okay. Now the second longest song on the record, Never There. Mm-hmm. I really like this song. This was a tough fight between this and Try for my favorite song on the record.
Yeah.
You know, like what's the story behind Never There? What was the inspiration for it?
Yeah, so that one just started as like basically what I assumed would be a bridge or an outro. Like the "and you will never," that part. And that one just I liked the part a lot, and I had the drums in my head already. And I wanted to use it. So I almost wrote that song backwards. I had the outro, and then I had to figure out how to write a song with it. And that one was it was interesting because it was the last I finished. I wrote the second verse like the morning we were in the studio. So it was definitely a rush because I was having writer's block. I'm like, well, I gotta write something. So but yeah, that one I wanted a riff song. And so I had the boom da 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 da, that part, just kind of playing over and over again. And yeah, and another thing that I feel like I worry about, especially in a song like that with the "You Were Never There for Me," none of these songs are about people, which I worry people will go like, oh, he's talking about a past relationship. Like every line on the song is, I mean, the EP is directed at like a part of me that I'm frustrated with. So like I talk about like the two halves of my being. I talk about "You Were Never There for Me," and like that's always just frustration with myself, and like wishing that I could take care of myself and be better. And same with like the "Always on My Mind." That's all directed at like myself, and like wanting like that song in particular, like the "I wish I could let you go, but it seems you're always on my mind." All kind of has to do with like letting go of the things that I just can't. And so I get worried about with those songs, it's particularly those two. But yeah, that's where Never There started and how it kind of formed. I like that one. It's kind of bouncy. So
yeah, I do like it when songs come together in a weird way that is not like your normal workflow. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that one was very backwards. I've never written an outro as the end, like the beginning. Like that was another one I sat on for like 2 years before I finished.
Good.
Yeah.
So like I mean I know you like the songwriting process is different, but like how's the approach of you guys coming together for a Nanl record different than say an Eraser or a Healthy Alternative record?
Um, they're interestingly similar but different. And a lot of it has to do with like who's writing the songs. So the Healthy Alternative um, was a lot of like Alex writing the songs, and Isaiah, and then like me coming in to finish or Isaiah coming in with guitar. And then there was Water on that album, which was kind of a dual guitar piece between those two. Arise Sir is Alex's project for the most part. And then the most recent one, our friend Shane, who is an amazing drummer, was also really instrumental in helping develop that one. And then this project was all of my songs that I had written, but they all kind of tended to be like one of us writes a song, and then Isaiah and Alex and I, and then Shane on that one. Shane was on the first and the third Arister project, and then my friend Alex Schumacher was on this one. But it tends to be like one of us writes a handful of songs, and then everybody else kind of comes in and varying from a long time in writing parts to very quickly, just kind of throwing something on there.
Like
A lot of
how do you guys
uh,
decide who plays what instrument? Because it seems like you got everybody plays everything.
yeah, yeah, we do switch around a lot. Uh, it depends on the project. Like Healthy Alternative, I think Alex was playing like he had all the acoustic guitars and most of the rhythm. And he was playing bass and piano. And then on another project, he's doing lead guitar and rhythm and drums. I've been thrown around on drums and guitar and vocals now, but I guess it just depends whose project it is. Because Ariser is mostly Alex, Nanl's mostly me. Healthy Alternative started with Isaiah and Alex, and then now we've got Rose Tint, which is Isaiah and I. So like it's all a very sort of convoluted process that has very little consistency, but it's all fun and it's all based in just like, hey, can you help? Do you want to help? Do you want to do this? And like everybody's just always there to be
This
on
is
the
a
project when possible. So
this sounds like a great situation to be in, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just now getting used to the idea of like asking for outside help
yeah,
for some of my stuff, you know. And I'm coming in hot. Like I just did as of the day of this recording is the day that I did the Everyday Struggle Notorious B.I.G. remix, and you know that's on SoundCloud right now. And I
yeah.
literally just did that 2 hours ago, and I'm still kind of like hot off of it. I'm still, you
The
know,
adrenaline's still going from man.
well,
I've been listening to your stuff. It's super fun. It sounds so good.
yeah, I mean, the stuff I do release is like the stuff that makes me feel like a kid again. So,
Yeah.
you know, or like speaks to like a really strong emotional part to me. And it's like easy for me to do because I don't have to worry about like, oh, like people worry if the song is about them. Like,
Mhm.
no, the song is about you, you just don't know it because it doesn't have words. But it is a soundtrack to a part of my life in which you are in, whether favorably or unfavorably. So,
Yeah. No, it's funny. I think the first time I heard your music was you remixed one of the Ariser songs, right?
yeah, I did a couple of them. I did a change we needed,
Hmm.
and yeah, I did a change we needed, and I did one of the ones look to the light. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the change we needed, I think, was the first time I heard you because Alex was really excited. He's like, somebody remix my song. I'm like, yeah, and it sounds great. So it's so cool.
that's
It's so
actually the crowd pleaser on my first full length record. Like that
yeah.
people love that. People love that one. Yeah, and that took the least amount of time for me to do. I think but it didn't take that long.
Hmm.
It took me like maybe 3 hours from start to finish. You know, to get that done. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, like that was some great guitar playing on that song.
Hmm.
Yeah. That was a great record. Something about this needs to change was just a great record. You
Yeah.
know,
It feels very organic and like it's so unorthodox, but in a way that I love it.
Yeah, I remember Simple Minded was like the song I fell in love with, and that came out after my like first release with Lonely Ghost, and
Mhm.
I remember yeah, it came out like a month afterwards, and I was so pissed off, like, oh god, there's like I can't release this record again.
Yeah.
How dare I release this garbage after and Alice comes in with this with
Yeah.
this record? So like, yeah, that was definitely a very inspiring record, and
Mhm.
I think yeah, something yeah, the change we needed was like the second to last song I did. You
Yeah.
know, my because Super Destroyer was like, you need to do an eraser track. Like, do I have to?
Yeah.
You know, and I went back through because I wanted to do Simple Minded, and I didn't like. I just bought the sampler. Let me show you. I just because I did 2.0 all in the box on this thing, you know, and I just bought it at that time too.
Yeah.
See, yeah, and I dropped it a few times. That's why the knot fell off. But yeah, but yeah, I just bought it, and I did not know how to like time stretch with it in a meaningful way, so I couldn't slow down. I couldn't slow down the tempo to I couldn't slow down the tempo enough for Simple Minded. So I did the change we needed, and that turned out even better than what I had in mind for Simple Minded.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I did that at work actually on
Really?
a lunch break. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah, I got the skeleton for that figured out at work. But
Mhm.
yeah, like I did not know I've been listening to Nanl's contributions to Lonely Ghost for like a factor of like 2 to 3 years now.
Yeah.
So you know, and it's like yeah, nice to hear that you're like you guys were also involved in Healthy Alternative as well.
Yeah. So.
In fact, because I do the label Facebook page, and there was like one guy that
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, do you have any more Healthy Alternative or Ricer tapes?"
Yeah.
Like, no, they haven't. No, we don't have anymore. And he's like, if you guys do re-release them, could you like hold one for me? Like, no.
Yeah.
Well, be nice to know that you have people from across the country like wanting some tapes from you guys. Like, and it's well deserved. Like the record is good. Record is great.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You know, but yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna hit start recording soon.
Okay.
This is I'm Leave Nelson B. Where can people find you?
Let's see. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. If you're looking for just guitar parts, Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I'm still figuring out how to use it. And that's about it. Oh, Bandcamp and SoundCloud as well. So,
Yeah, Bandcamp's my preferred place. But
yeah.
and I'm Leave Nelson B. You can find me. You can find me making your mama get me food for me. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. Have a good one.
Cool. Hey, thanks. I really appreciate your time. That means a lot.